Hi guys, welcome to week 2 of exponent rules. So what we're going to do today is we're going to talk a little bit of review from the quotient property from last week, and also today we're going to talk about the zero property. Okay? This will correspond to numbers 1, 2, and 3 on your homework. By the end of this week, we'll have gotten through all the exponent rules. Monday and Tuesday next week, we will do a review. And then Wednesday and Thursday, you'll have an assessment. And then the following week, we'll move on. So let's get started. So what we're going to do today is we're going to do numbers 1, 2, and 3. And again, those correspond to 1, 2, and 3 on your homework. And actually, we're also going to do 4. So a little bit of review from last week, and we used the quotient property. So I have 6x to the 13th divided by 28x to the 13th. So what I need to do first there is I'm going to do my numbers just like I have before. So I'm going to say, what can 28 and 6, what goes into both those? Well, those both go into 2. So I'm going to divide the 6 by 2 and divide the 28 by 2. So I end up with 3 over 14. And then I do my x's. I have 13 on top and 13 on bottom, so they cancel out completely. So those x's cancel out. And so what I'm left with is 3/14. Okay? Let's go on and do number 2, which is similar to number 1. So now I have 44 and 121. So let's look at it like this. Remember, there's an imaginary 1 on that x. So I'm going to do my 44 over 121, and I'm going to do my x 40 and my x 1, and then I'm going to bring together for my final answer. So I say, well, what number goes into 44 and goes into 121? Well, that would be 11. So 11 goes into both those. So I'm going to divide here by 11, and I'm going to divide here by 11. So I end up with 4 over 11, and then I look over here at this part and say I have 40 x's on top and 1 x on bottom, so that means I have 39 on top. And I'm done. So 4x to the 39th over 11. So again, a little bit of review from last week, just working on the quotient property. When we're doing quotient properties, just where do I have more x's, top or bottom, and how many more? And then I always handle my coefficients like normal, my numbers, my coefficients, okay? Let's get into the new part right now, and let's talk about 3 and 4. So 3 and 4 are going to be zero property. So zero property says, zero property, we'll write this out, okay? So that's what 3 and 4 is over, is anything to the 0 power equals 1. So anything to the 0 power, oh, I didn't spell 0 right, let's go back and change that, 0 power equals 1. So anything to the 0 power equals 1. It's really important to know for 3 and 4, and that corresponds to number 3 on your homework. So let's look at this problem here. Let's look at number 3. So I have 8 over 12, and then I have my x to the 0, y to the 4, y to the 2. So let's separate that up. So I'm going to have 8 and 12. I'm going to have x0 over nothing, so 1, and then y4 and y2. Okay, so I separate everything that looks alike. So what goes into 8 and 12? Well, 4 does, so I'm going to divide by 4, and I get 2/3 as my number. Okay, x to the 0, well, that goes away to 1, so that's like 1 over 1, so that just goes away. And then I look at my y's, and I have y to the 4th over y to the 2nd. So I have 4 on top and 2 on bottom, which means I have 2 more on top. And there's my answer, 2y squared over 3. So anything to the 0 power, it just kind of goes away. Mathematically, it cancels out to 1, but it just goes away in the problem. So let's look at the last one. Let's look at number 4. So I have 15x to the 6th, y to the 4th, over 175 y squared z to the fifth, everything to the 0 power. Well, every single thing, this entire thing, is to the 0 power. So if I type in anything and everything's to the 0 power, my answer here would just be 1. So really pay attention. If the whole thing is to the 0 power, the whole thing goes to 1. But like on number 3, just the x went to the 0 power, so just the x went away. Okay? So that's your 0 property notes for today. Make sure you try 1, 2, and 3 on your homework, and we'll see you back here tomorrow. Have a great day, guys.